Ladies and guys who want to be good students. Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the internet, killyourinnerloser.com, The Inner Winner Show. Let's fucking go. I'm super excited about this topic, legit. So this is how to get the most out of a coach or how to be a really good student. This is something that I think too many people don't focus on. Right? So I'm going to come at this from the angle of like my own coaching. I'm going to use that as an example. I'm also going to talk about if you're paying a personal trainer, if you're seeing like a bodybuilder or someone like that to give you weight loss advice or gym advice. Even guys who are just taking advice from other people like on my forums or reading a book or like any kind of coaching, any kind of like advice taking from someone else. Too many people are really shit students, and they put all of the emphasis or they put all the burden on the coach, and they say it's up to the coach to make me a winner or make me elite or any of that kind of stuff. Yes, you are paying a person, whether it's me, whether it's a personal trainer, whoever it is, you're paying them, or if you're getting free advice on my forums, there is an expectation that that person will help you. Obviously, that's why you're fucking paying them. But I see too many people putting the entire emphasis on that person and saying, this person has to do everything. I get to just kind of sit back and be a lazy prick and let everything happen. That is not the way that you get the most out of a coach. That's not the way you build an awesome life. That's not the way you maximize being a student. Part of getting coaching is being a really good fucking student. So I've written down a bunch of notes here. I'm going to read off all of these because, again, this is something really fucking passionate, something that I'm really passionate about. I do coaching. I've coached, I don't even know, it's like 150 people at this point in time. And I've seen so many people who come through that are ridiculously successful. And one thing that they all have in common is they're all really good students. I don't think they even know that they're good students. I tell most of them, I'm like, you're really easy to coach. Like, you really have your shit together when it comes to being a student. But I don't think it's like a conscious thing that they do. So what I'm going to do is talk through all of the similarities that all these good guys have, all these good students. And I'll also talk through some of the things that lesser good students, there's no nice way to say that, shit students have. And so hopefully you take from this, whether you're going to hit me up for coaching or if you go to a personal trainer, even if you just take free advice from a fucking book or something, or, you know, on my forums or whatever, listening to people giving you advice, please listen to this. Please make the most of this. Please start being a good student. The first thing that I'm going to start with is be fucking humble. This is something that I actually got from Radical, the moderator on my forums. He runs his own YouTube channel called Radical Improvements. Go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description below to his shit. I just had to pause there to make an actual note in my reminder so I don't forget. But go check him out on YouTube. There'll be a link in the description below. He came up with this concept first. And he said, what I've noticed is the people who are good students, or the people, because he's the moderator on my forums, he said the people that really change and make the most changes are those who are humble. What do we mean when we say humble? We mean if someone has done what you are trying to do, shut the fuck up and listen to what they have to say. That doesn't mean they will be 100% correct all the time, but I see so many people arguing with me, with him, Radical, with other coaches, with personal trainers, guys who have no fucking right to be arguing. Guys who are at the absolute beginning. I've seen I've had virgins argue with me on getting laid advice. Guys who have literally never had sex, and they'll say, you know, recently we had on the forums, a dipshit said, you shouldn't walk up to girls and be direct with them. And when we say direct, we mean, hey, you know, walk up, hey, you're cute, I'm Andy, what are you up to today? This guy said, that doesn't work, I've never seen anybody get laid doing that, you shouldn't do that. And a couple of people chimed in and said, how many lays have you had, dude? And he said, well, none, but it doesn't work. And it's like, dude, that's an extreme example, but shut the fuck up if you don't know what you're talking about, if you haven't done the thing that you were trying to do and that you're either paying a coach or getting advice from forums or a book or whatever. If you haven't done that thing and this person has, especially if they have proof, which I do on my fucking website, if this person has proof and they clearly have knowledge, shut the hell up, do what they say, listen to what they say, be humble, and follow their advice. Don't sit there arguing. Don't sit there saying, well, I heard this other guru says this other thing. What the fuck has that got to do with anything? You don't know what advice is correct. You have no idea what's going to work and what's not going to work. So what you need to do is pick someone that you trust. Hopefully you trust me or you wouldn't fucking be listening to me. Pick someone you trust. Try their advice only by actually doing it and really giving it a good go. Not half-assing it, but doing it properly. That's when you'll figure out when they were correct or not, whether they were correct or not. And I'll tell you right now, all of my shit fucking works. I have a ridiculous amount of proof that it works. I have a ridiculous number of coaching clients where it works. There are a bunch of other things that work as well. It's not just I'm not the only person with the correct getting laid advice. But the point is, if you come to a coach or you're getting advice on forums or something like that, and someone gives you advice and they're further ahead than you, don't fucking argue if you have no idea what you're talking about. When you get to their level, or when you get halfway to their level, sure, then you can argue a little bit. Maybe you can ask some questions and say, oh, do you think maybe this would be better if you did it like this or that? And yeah, maybe sometimes you will have some advice that the expert didn't think of, sure. But when you're at the start, shut the fuck up and be humble. Do what you're told, follow the homework, follow the advice, get it done, make it happen. Don't sit there fucking arguing. And on that note, I do want to make it clear that you can ask questions or get clarification. If you're not sure about something or you're not sure why they're saying something, absolutely ask questions. Of course, especially if you're on a coaching call. If you're on a coaching call with me, ask me all the questions you want. The point is, don't sit there arguing. Don't say, I don't think that'll work, or that won't work for me, or blah, blah, blah. The person who is giving you advice has likely already thought through all of these objections, already gone through them hundreds of times. Do you know how many people say to me, I can't follow your advice because I'm short, or I can't follow your advice because I'm not white, or whatever bullshit. The expert or the person you're paying or the person whose advice you're following has likely already been through that shit 100 fucking times, had 100 other retards say, oh, but it's different for me, I can't follow your advice, and that person be proven wrong. Like everyone who's ever said, I'm short, are you sure I can get laid? Eventually goes on to get laid. And then I say, see, I fucking told you so. And they go, yeah, I guess you were right, sorry. So be humble, listen to the expert that you're paying or the person whose advice you're taking, and do what they say. Next thing I'll say is do something before your call. So something you can show off to your coach. So you can literally say, look what I did to show you that I'm serious. So if you're doing coaching with me, you could go talk to a girl, you could sign up for Tinder, you could overhaul your style, you could buy a couple of accessories, buy a necklace or something, buy a watch, any of that sort of crap. Lose 2 pounds, start hitting the gym, sign up for a gym, just like little things like that. If you're seeing a powerlifting coach or a weightlifting coach or a personal trainer, whatever it is, like someone in the gym, go to the gym a couple of times by yourself, right? Or sign up for an exercise plan, something like that. Do something to show the person that you're actually serious, that you've taken a step, because you have no idea how much of a difference it makes when someone rocks up to a session with me and they say, I've already done this. I've already taken this action. That makes me go like 100% more all in than I otherwise would have. I already give 100%. But if someone comes to me and they say, hey, I've done this, I've made this change, I'm like, okay, this guy, I'm going to emotionally invest in this guy. Like, I want this guy to succeed. I'm going to fucking try 10 times harder than I otherwise would. I mean, like I said, it's not like I'm fucking lazy with other people, but you care more if someone comes to you and says, look at what I've already done. They're showing you that they take themselves seriously. That's going to make you take them more seriously. So if you're getting advice from someone or you're paying a coach or whatever it is, do something before you first see them. Literally so you can brag and say, look what I did. So I recently myself signed up for a bodybuilding coach, like to take that shit 100% seriously, like go all in with my bodybuilding and shit like that. And he said to me, like, well, he didn't ask me, but like on the first call, I said, okay, like we haven't actually started the program yet, but I already went and looked up a meal plan. I already started that. I already bought a bunch of vegetables so I can start meal planning. I've already practiced a couple of those meals. I've already gone to the gym a couple of times. I looked on your website at your recommended like workout plan. I just started that myself. And he's like, okay, cool. Like you're actually serious. You've already taken some steps before I even told you to. It's like you've done the homework before you were even given it. People respect the fuck out of that. Coaches will respect the fuck out of that. People on forums giving you advice, or people who are ahead of you trying to mentor you or just give you little bits of advice, they will absolutely respect the shit out of you if you already do something without them having to tell you. It shows initiative. It shows that you're serious about your own life. It shows that you can take control of the wheel and not have to have someone else baby you and do everything for you. So whatever it is, just do something. It basically shows them that you're like more invested in yourself. So they're going to get more invested in you. As I said, yeah, if you expect your coach to do everything for you, you're showing that you're not really all that serious. Your coach isn't going to be there to hold your hand your entire life. If you want an awesome life, you are going to have to be the one to do it. Your coach is basically your cheerleader, your mentor, your wise sage, your motivator and stuff like that. But they're not the one that does it. You have to go out and do it. No matter, I can give you all the motivational speeches in the world. That's what these fucking podcasts are. I can sit there and tell you everything you need to hear. I can do all of that for you. But the one thing I cannot do is make you go outside and talk to girls. I can bully you into it. I can pressure you into it. I can talk you into it. I can encourage you. I can give you praise. I can set up homework tasks for you. And I do all that shit. And any other coach will do all that shit for you. But the one thing that a coach cannot do, or an advice giver cannot do, is make you do it. Like, you have to be the one. All we can do is, as you know, that Matrix quote goes, all I can do is show you the door, or all we can do is show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. So show that you can do something outside of the person without them having to tell you, and they will try a lot harder to make you more successful. Next thing I'll say is come to the call prepared. So if you're working with me in particular, come with a list of questions before the call. You can even email me that list of questions, which is what I tell the people who are serious to do. And the people who are serious do that. They will email me a list of questions or topics they want to talk about, or stuff that's on their mind, or mental hurdles, or, you know, negative thoughts or limiting beliefs, like all that kind of shit. And I will read over that. I will prepare some answers beforehand. And then when we get on the call, it's like, okay, we're ready to go. Like, we're just going to jump straight into this shit, like 2 minutes of small talk and then straight into it. Like, I know this motherfucker is serious. So I want to make the most of their time and their money and show them that I respect their time and money, because they've respected their own time and money. If you are working with a personal trainer, come with a list of questions written on your phone. So what food do I eat? What tempo do I lift the weights at? How often should I train? What exercises should I do? Shit like that. Bring every question you have, like, on your phone to the first session, so they know you're fucking serious and that you're not just half-assing it, like you actually want some results. If it's other coaches, like, I guess this applies to all coaches. It applies to me, a personal trainer, just anyone in general that you're taking advice from. You can also come with mindset questions. So things like, do you think that I can make it? Do you think that I'm a special case who can't be helped? Or is that just a normal doubt that everyone has? I myself did this with my bodybuilding coach recently. I came to the first session and a bunch of the questions I asked were like, I've always had these limiting beliefs that I'll always be a skinny guy. Do you think I can make it? Or I kind of fucked around with my weight, my gym progress for like 3 years. I gained some muscle, sure. I gained a lot of strength, but it was like 3 years of fucking around for the most part. Do you think that I'm destined to just keep fucking around, or if I take this seriously, will I see results? Basically, that was my question. If I go hard on this, if I go all in, if I take this seriously and do it properly, will I get results, or am I a special case? And he, of course, you know, kind of chuckled and said, why would you be a special case? Of course, if you do this properly, of course you can be elite. Of course you can. It might take 2 years, but like, of course you can. And I was like, okay, good. That's what I needed to hear. A lot of my coaching clients, the ones who are good students, will come with those questions. They will literally say, hey, I'm 5'8". Does that make a difference? I'm 5'6". Does that mean I can't get laid? And I'll say, well, look at my other coaching clients. The guy that I did a podcast with recently, Ed, he's 5'6". He was a virgin at 31. He's had sex with 12 girls now, like really recently. He's getting laid like fucking crazy. And I won't say he's not trying, because he tries his fucking ass off. So that wouldn't be a correct way of saying it. But like, it's getting easier for him. 5'6". So those kind of questions are the questions I love, like the mindset questions. They're like the doubts and the insecurities and the limiting beliefs. Like, bring those to your coach or whoever you're getting advice from. If it's on a forum, like, ask those questions. Like, do you guys think, or your mentor or whatever, do you think that I'm a special exception who can't be helped? Do you think that there's some extenuating circumstance that means I can't do what you've done? Is there some hurdle that I have to overcome in order to get success? Like, ask those kind of questions. Come with those questions. Those are the best kind of questions. And those are the questions that most guys are too scared to ask, I guess, because it brings out your vulnerabilities. It's like the deep, dark fears that you have that you don't really want to bring out. Those are the questions that you need to ask your coach. Like, you can even literally plead and say, can you please tell me that I can make it? I've had clients say that, literally, can you please tell me that I can make it? And I'll look them straight in the eyes, or in the camera as it happens. And I'll say, like, you know, why would you be an exception? What are the reasons you think you're an exception? We'll talk through all those reasons. And then by the end, they're like, so every single thing that I think is an exception, you have evidence that other people have done it. And if you're going to any good coach, they will have a bunch of students and testimonials and stuff like that of people that they've worked with. I've tried to collect a bunch of testimonials from people who are exceptions. Short guys, Asian guys, like all the weird fucking exceptions that people think are exceptions. Bald guys, you know, I'm fucking bald myself. Like all of those kind of exceptions. any decent coach will have a bunch of examples of that. So talk through them. Say, this is my exception, or I think this is my exception, or here's the thing that I think will hold me back, or have you ever helped someone who was depressed, or like whatever it is, talk through those things. Next bit of advice I'll give is record the session. So with me, I offer everyone right at the start of the call, I'll say, do you want this recorded? Do you want to hit record? And most people say yes. Like the good students will say yes, they'll hit record. I'll make sure they record it on their end so they get a copy. The ones who, I don't want to say they're not going to succeed, but it is a bit of a red flag for me if someone says like, if they say I don't want to record it for privacy reasons, fine, that's like a whole different, but if someone's like, nah, I don't think I need to record it, I will prompt them and I will say, are you sure? Because I want you to listen to this again, because you're going to, here's the thing, when you're on a coaching call or when you're with a personal trainer or whatever, when you're in the moment, you have shit going on in your head. You're not necessarily in the best frame of mind to be like taking it all in. You're trying to think of the next question. You're trying to make the most of your time. Some people are nervous on coaching calls. I have that happen all the time. A guy would just say like, I'm really nervous. Or I'll ask someone like, how are you feeling? And they'll be like, I'm really scared. I'm really nervous. I'm really intimidated by you, or something like whatever it is. Or I want to make the most of this and I'm just nervous about making the most of this. So you're not in the best frame of mind of like taking everything in and being a true sponge and really absorbing it all. So the second time when you go back and listen to something, I tell everyone to go and listen to the recordings that we have of our coaching calls. You pick up on shit that you didn't even hear the first time. You're like, I didn't even realize Andy said that, or I forgot we had that conversation, or holy shit, that was like an epiphany that I wouldn't have even had if I hadn't gone back and listened to the session. I've done this myself with guys who've mentored me and coaches that I've had. I will go back and listen to it later, or I will read a book a second time and go, how did I not pick up on that? That was a gold nugget right there that I just sort of said like, oh yeah, that's cool at the time, but like it didn't really click. And then I listened to it a second time and it's like, holy shit, that's life-changing. So record the goddamn session. If you really don't want to record the session with someone, or if it's like a personal trainer in person or something, take notes. Have a piece of paper or a notebook or whatever. Take some fucking notes. Even on your phone, pause the coach and say, hang on a second, I'm writing that down. Do you know how magical it is in my ears when I hear the words, give me 1 second, hang on, I want to write that down. My face fucking lights up when I hear that. It's like a fucking orgasm. I'm like, holy shit, this guy is serious. When someone says like, hang on, let me write that down, I'm like, this motherfucker is serious. So write shit down. Your coach will try a lot harder. When you do shit like that, they'll see you writing down, or if you say, hang on a second, I'm writing this down, they will go like, oh shit, this guy, okay, everything I say, because here's what happens from the coaching point of view. You guys don't know what happens from the coach's point of view because you're obviously not coaches. When your coach sees someone write something down, something changes in your mind, in the coach's mind, in my mind. All of a sudden, it's like, this guy is paying attention. So I need to go above and beyond. I need to give 150% and make sure everything I say is like pertinent, to the point, concise, perfect, epiphanies. I need to just give them gold nuggets because they're listening. They're really listening. So what I say isn't going to fall on deaf ears. They're definitely going to take this seriously. They're also paying more attention. So I want to do a better job and not sound like a buffoon, a complete buffoon. Half a buffoon is fine, but you don't want to sound like a complete buffoon. I'm going to try harder. So you both try harder. This is the main thing I'm trying to get across to you guys. Like, why am I telling you to be a good student? Because you will get a better coaching experience, not just from me. Every fucking coach will do a better job. Every mentor, every person on the forums or any forums that gives you advice will do a better job and help you more and try harder and be more invested and try for longer and do more things that are above and beyond that they wouldn't do for normal people. If you show that you are serious, if you show that you are a good student, people will go above and beyond. Do you know how much like extra free shit I've done for people that look like they're really fucking serious? I go above and beyond. I'm so ridiculously loyal to the people that show me that they are serious. But the ones that half-ass it, I do a good job, sure, of course. And any coach that you're going to will do a good job. But like, they're not going to go above and beyond. If you haven't gone above and beyond, you need to take the first step. You need to go above and beyond first by writing shit down, recording the sessions, coming prepared, doing stuff before the call, paying attention, all that kind of shit. Do that stuff, and then your coach will go above and beyond as well. So the next thing I'll say is listen. Don't talk. Too many coaching students that I have, or other people that I've heard go to other coaches. They talk, they yap, tell me irrelevant shit that doesn't matter, to the point where I have to interrupt them and say, like, hey, back on track. Like, you don't need to tell me this random story about, some irrelevant fucking video game. People tell me about video games all the fucking time. Dungeons and Dragons. I like talking about that stuff for 30 seconds, a minute, fine, sure. If it's relevant, or if it's at the start of the call, fine. Or if it's a funny anecdote, fine. But I see too many coaching students who just will go on for like 5 minutes, and then I'm waiting for the point where it's relevant, and then I have to interrupt and be the asshole and say, like, stop, dude. Is there a point to this? And they'll be like, oh, I guess not, sorry. And they'll get back on track. And then they'll do it 10 minutes later. And like the 5th time I interrupt them, I sometimes have to literally pause the session and say, hey, man, come on. Like, I get that I'm grateful that you're paying me money, but it's your money. Don't you want to get something out of this? Like, do you just want to kind of talk? Because if you want to talk, like, find a friend. Like, I can help you make a friend, but you shouldn't be paying me to be your friend. Like, I'm your coach. I'm supposed to be helping you change your life. I'm supposed to be getting you results. And me sitting here letting you go off on an irrelevant tangent is kind of counterintuitive. It's unproductive. It's not going to help you with what you want. So part of being a good student is listen. Say whatever you need to say. Fine. If you tell 1 or 2 jokes, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to be 100% on point all the time, but definitely don't go off on a 5 or 10 minute rant about something that doesn't matter several times in the call. The clock is ticking. It's your money. Your coach only has so much mental energy and time as well to help you. And if you talk for, a combined 45 minutes about irrelevant shit, and your coach has to keep bringing you back, what you're telling them, or what you're telecommunicating to them or communicating to them is, I'm not actually all that serious about my own self-improvement. My life isn't that important to me. My goals aren't that important. And we can kind of just ramble. The best coach in the world is going to slightly mentally check out when you do this. If you do this 5 or 6 times, I hate to say it, but I do. If a coaching client of mine goes off the rails 5 or 6 times, and I have to keep bringing them back, and I have to have a conversation and say, dude, stop. What are you doing? Do you want to coach, or do you want to just ramble? You check out a little bit. You still try, sure, but you're not going to go 100% all in, because you're like, this guy doesn't take himself seriously. This guy isn't going to go on to achieve greatness. He's too scatterbrained. He doesn't care about his goals. He just cares about whatever weird shit he wants to tell me about. Some Netflix movie that he watched, or, him going to get ice cream last night, or some funny joke his friend told him. And like, after the 5th derailing of the train, why should I bring it back on track? You obviously are happy paying me to just fucking listen to your ramblings. So I'll give you the bare minimum. And then I'll know that after this call, you're probably not going to go on to achieve greatness. So why would I help you? Like, I'll help you the bare minimum because you're paying me. Obviously, you're paying for a service, but every other coach is going to be doing the same thing. Any coach you go to, if you get derailed and you don't listen to them and you just keep talking about irrelevant shit, they're going to mentally check out after the 5th or 6th time that you do it in a call. So yes, you can talk, you can give context, you can ask questions if you need more, you can talk. I'm not saying you can't talk, but keep it relatively, let's say you have to keep it 80% on topic. You can go off for 20% of the time. That's fine. You don't have to be, you can have a little levity, but for the most part, you want to be on topic. Next thing I'll say is ask for clarity if you're unsure about something. So there are no dumb questions. It is always better to ask rather than be confused and never get clarification. Because the bad thing that happens there is if you don't get clarification, you'll go off, you'll make a dumb mistake because you didn't fully understand something. So ask for clarity. Again, I want to make it really clear. There are no dumb questions. Every single coach on any topic has heard a million dumb, air quotes, dumb questions about whatever it is that you're asking. They've heard these questions before. They're used to it. Just ask the dumb question. I promise no decent coach is ever going to laugh at you or say, oh, that's a stupid question. That's a newbie question. No, you're paying them. They've worked with newbies. Trust me, every coach is going to be understanding and empathetic, or every decent coach is going to be empathetic. Ask the question. It's better to look like a fool rather than close your mouth and be a fool forever. Whatever that saying is. There's a saying something like that. Open your mouth and be a fool for 5 minutes. Close your mouth and you're a fool forever. After the call, do the fucking homework that you've been given. If that's coaching with me, I give homework to all of my coaching clients. And any other coach that you see that's a decent coach will do the same thing. They'll give you like a plan of action or some homework or something to do afterwards, or just like a path to go down. If that's a personal trainer, they'll give you a workout program. If it's a decent psychologist, they'll give you pieces of paper and they'll say, go and do these exercises, or they'll give you a recommended book list. I give people articles and books to read, and I write like a list of shit that I want them to do, like go out and talk to this many girls, or go and change your clothes, or go on the forums, or do this. Do the homework that you're given. It would blow your guys' mind how many people will come to me for coaching or go to, some other coach, get the homework, and then just not do it. Why did you come to coaching? Why did you come to change your life, to have a plan of action, and then not do it? Like, did you just want to feel good for a little bit? Was the mission just to feel good for 2 hours and maybe a couple of days afterwards? Yeah, I'm making changes, but then just like not making changes? That's what shit students do. A shit student will get the homework, half-ass it, not do it, not take action. You're never going to be successful if you don't take action. A big fucking part of success is taking action. You can't just read my website. You can't just read books. This podcast, while helpful, is not going to get you out there talking to girls. It's not going to get you to improve your looks. It's not going to get you wealthy. It's not going to get you to make friends. It's just advice that you then need to go out and take. Reading the world's best books is not going to change your life. Reading the books that I talk about, The Slight Edge, Luxury, You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought, No More Mr. Nice Guy. All these books are not going to do jack shit if you don't do what's in the books. And the good books, all three of those books, literally say you must do what's in this book. Don't just read this book. Do what's in the fucking book. So do the goddamn homework. So in short, I'll summarize now. If you want the most out of coaching, you have to be a good student. You do be humble. Come to the call prepared. Listen to everything your coach says. Don't talk incessantly the entire time or ramble about irrelevant shit and get derailed for the 10th time. Take notes or record the session. And most of all, take action on whatever homework they give you. If you want me to kick your ass, me personally, Andy, and help you build the life that you want, or if you're struggling with women, fitness, money, social life, mental issues, whatever the hell it is, hit me up. So I have a I wish I had a goop. I have a group coaching program called the Become a Winner program. That's group coaching. If you want like a one-on-one hardcore coaching, I have that as well. I'll leave links in the description below. And the thing I'm going to really get across to you guys is you're never going to build the kind of life you want if you aren't able to take advice and be a good student from other people, whether that's paid coaching with me, paid coaching with someone else, a personal trainer, or even just advice in a book or a forum, or someone who's ahead of you just giving you little nuggets of information. If you're not a good student, you won't be able to properly put into action the advice that they give you. So please be a good student. Go out there and crush your goals.